on the show, and it's going to be, as usual, conversation where we'll be talking about trust, compliance, and cloud security in the world where AI is changing a lot of things. Be it how we build, be it how the system grow, and the scaling of the technology. And I have a perfect guest for this topic, in person of Adebayo Omole. Is the principal security and compliance leader at Oracle, and is one of the experienced voice in cloud security with a lot of certification. But beyond certification, he has been in the industry for a while now, which is actually a perfect fit for this particular episode. Mr. Debayo, thank you for joining us today on another episode of Tech Niger FM. Thank you. Can we basically know you so that our audience, our listeners, can basically know who we have on the show for today? Thank you.
Thanks today. Like today said, my name is Adibayo Mode. Presently I work with Oracle as a principal security and compliance specialist. Um, in the past 10 years, I've led so many projects in cloud security, in compliance, in audit. Basically, I'm one of those guys that if you use a particular software, there are some people that are accountable to the government to make sure that your data is not stolen, and that also gets the stick part of the game if those type of things happen, right? So um in security generally, the bad guys, they have to be successful ones. The good guys have to be successful all the time, but the bad guys have to be successful just once, and 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 the good guys look incompetent, right? So that has been my life for at least the last 10 years, and yeah, and I'm happy to be on the show.
Thank you so much for that. So we go into it. So let's start from AI, because AI is changing a lot of things now. Uh, so when we talk about AI that is changing a lot of things, what stand out to you in the most times of security and trust?
Mhm. AI changing a whole lot of things. For me, it's an exciting moment. It's a moment that brings a whole lot of opportunities. And also, I think we are moving, human race generally, we are moving into a phase that movies have talked about, books wrote about them, and suddenly it's becoming a reality.
Yeah.
And when I was like 5, 6 years old, you watch movies like The Rise of the Machine, you watch all of these movies, and these are just writers, scripts, imagining what the future is going to look like. And it's we are literally walking into those things because
Yes.
in the last 5, 6 years, I've had opportunity, just basically the type of companies I've always worked for. I started out with KPMG. At some point, I moved to SAP. I was with Oracle. I went to Amazon. I came back to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So I've always worked with blue chip companies that are interested in cutting edge technologies. So because of that, I've always had opportunity to really see into what's happening in robotics, what's happening in different pieces of all of these cutting edge technologies. And generally, for the past 5 to 6 years, people have been developing robots, some of them humanoid robots that you cannot really power them without AI. and in some cases, quantum computing. Also, people have been exploring space. Other, they've been exploring space, the moon, other planets, and other planetary bodies. And generally, what they've come to realize is that, for example, when you talk about the moon, you have the moon, one part of the moon is ice, the other part is pool. So the moon goes around the sun every day, and the part that is facing the sun is the pool, the other part is the ice. So now, in outside of planet Earth, most of those conditions to work in, humans can generally not work in it. It's not safe for humans to be able to operate.
Operating
So
inside.
yeah, there have been robots that have been built that basically they are supposed to be outbound to some of these planetary bodies. But because there's no AI, we don't have those type of data to power them for years. Most of them have been dormant. And it's just like, talking about the rise of the machine, it's like now there's electricity. It's just like that's why some people they describe AI as electricity. It's just like now there's electricity to power those things. And some of them they are now coming alive. You understand? They are now humanoid robots that are working in factories, replacing human beings generally, and all of those things. So human race generally, we are walking into that phase whereby some people saw it coming and they've been working towards it, and it's scary, it's exciting, it's something that we should embrace. And whether you like it or not, it's actually here, right?
Is
So
there, there's nothing we can do.
there's nothing you can do, right? So in terms of security, trust, and all of those things, the because of the type of the in terms of technology advancement, because of the phase we are in already, we're already at that phase that everything is moving 100 times faster than things used to work.
Yes, I
There's
agree.
there's more information. You can generate codes, you can do all of those things. So it brings about a lot of potential security vulnerability, but it also improves the security of the systems themselves. That is, security is not what it used to be. Security in the past used to be like you are firewall, everything is protected. But so security used to be like you have a city that have a huge fence and a big gate.
Yes.
That's what
It's yeah.
security used to look like. So the question is that once you breach that high gate, then you have access to the kingdom.
You are
But
in.
now But now it's no longer like that. Well, there is now zero trust architecture. That is, even within the applications, within your environment, they don't trust each other. Then you have something like mutual TLS, whereby conversations within applications on your system, within your own cloud environment, they have to verify their identity each time they are making connections to each other.
Before they can access it.
Because before they can start sharing packets like within a network environment, right? So those things too, generally things are beefing up in compliance. There's something we call zero touch compliance now, whereby and even security too is getting a lot of zero touch, whereby everything is automated and it happens in real time. You understand? It happens in real time. It's not like you need somebody to go check logs. The logs are being checked. AI agents are checking the logs. They are flagging tickets. They are resolving the tickets. They are basically doing everything themselves, right? And generally, that's where the industry is going, whereby
It's moving into.
AI agents, which definitely they are more effective than humans, right, are trained to actually do most of these things. So both the bad guys and the good guys, because when you look at AI is neither good or evil. It depends on who is using it,
How you use it. Yeah.
right? So both the bad guys and the good guys, everybody's leveraging it to their own advantage. The short stick of it, some human beings are getting it, layoffs are happening everywhere, right? But it's just a phase. Like this phase of people losing their jobs, it's just a phase. It's going to come and go, right? It doesn't mean that we are not sympathetic to people that have been affected already, right? But it's just telling you that needs are adjusting. The way, do you really want to do a job that a computer can do for the rest of your life? No, right? So needs are adjusting the way the humans of the future, and the future, I mean the next 10 years,
Yes.
what you need to do to be relevant is definitely changing, right? So, but the AI themselves, they make it easier for you to, as a person, to learn, to know different things and all of those things. Yeah, so it's an exciting phase. It's nothing to be scared of.
Okay. Okay. Because when we when we most of us are using the AI now, and
Hmm.
if care is not taken and we don't use it properly, most of all our datas
Hmm.
are there already. So
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
care is not taken, you can just see a lot of the bad guys that will make use of your data to do a lot of things that
Hmm.
you are not even aware of. So
Hmm.
I think it's
Hmm.
something that we also need to be uh, careful about.
Hmm.
So you mentioned something about compliance not quite long. So personally, to me, whenever I hear something back then, whenever I hear something like compliance, I always think it's more of paperwork or something. But I've come to realize that it's far more than that. So, in your experience, what is the real art of compliance, and why does it matter, right, for engineers that are building products? Because we need to be aware of the compliance of things. So, I just want
Hmm.
to ask the particular question.
Hmm. Hmm. So compliance is at a phase that is evolving, and like you said, compliance used to be a lot of paperwork. It's still a lot of paperwork because because you have to. So compliance is that before you can say something is complying, it means that there's a regulatory body
Yes.
that is sitting somewhere and setting the standards for something to operate. So before we come to technology, let's take, for example, education. Every country have this body. In Nigeria, you have something like NUC, Nigeria University Commission,
Yes.
that
That's the
sort
regulatory
of
body.
like
Yeah.
that is a regulatory body over universities, and
Yes.
university have to show a sort of like compliance. If not, sometimes they lose accreditation for some of their programs, and
Yes.
you go there. I know people that went to some schools that they studied medicine, and those schools were never accredited
Accredited. Yes.
for medicine, right? So compliance come from that there's regulation, and you have to show sufficient evidence to prove that you are meeting those requirements. Um, in technology and IT, a very good example is FedRAMP. Um, FedRAMP is built out of NIST 853 high, and is basically the requirement for any software that the US government is going to use. Is a requirement that they have to meet that standard, and at
Okay.
least they have to get audited based on that standard at least once a year.
Wow.
So every environment that technology operates in, even Nigeria does have one form of regulation or the other for those technology to function. In the EU, GDPR is very popular for PII, for personal identifiable information, and the management of those PII. Um, for cloud security and cloud providers, there is Service Organization Control 123. It's called SOC. for payment card industry, anybody that is using any merchants, distributors that accept credit cards and those type of cards generally, they have what is called the PCI DSS. Now, because of the fact that there are security requirements that these organizations generally have to provide and prove and show substantial evidence that they are meeting those requirements. That is why this compliance world keep getting bigger and bigger, and the compliance requirements keep getting bigger and bigger. I've been part of 20 and the minimum 20 compliance regulation. For example, I've been part of NIST 853, NIST 873, ISO 27001, 27002, SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, PCI DSS, Germany. Oh, I don't want you to clap for me though. So I'm just saying Germany has what is called TSAT, Spain has what is called ENS. For you to do business with the Spain government, you have to pass ENS. Um, Korea, yeah, Korea has ISMS Korea. I've led those type of projects because I work with Oracle. We have products all over the world, and
Yeah, that's true.
we have to prove that we are meeting every single one of these requirements, right? We literally have to show it every year. Um, so because of that, companies have huge budgets that runs into millions of dollars just for compliance alone. You understand? And every year, sometimes you have to do some of those audits twice a year. It's also a competitive advantage in the market because imagine that I have a software or a product that is not FedRAMP compliant, and I have a rival in the market that has the same software and tool that does exactly the same thing,
Same thing.
but it's FedRAMP compliant. Like, who do you think the government is going to do business with?
The one that
Right?
does compliance.
You understand? So product meeting compliance requirements, they are extremely important, especially in highly regulated environments, because there are environments that are not really regulated. But in highly regulated environments, countries that they take information of their citizens, they take it extremely important, and those
Important, yeah.
sensitive information, the country have acts and regulations that guide all of them. Yes. So a for a developer, someone developing a product, depending on the markets you are looking at, you have to
Yes.
do your extra due diligence to look at those markets, look at the regulations they have, so that you don't run into problem. Like, literally, if you look at the sanctions that were given to some of the big companies in the world, I think Facebook has been sanctioned by EU for like $1 billion before. Like, yeah, it gets that critical. Like, countries take those information serious. And I'm going to give you an example. On The project is successful, it has gone through. I was on one of the biggest social media platform that everybody uses. And this social media platform is from an Asian country, and it was operating in the US. Now, the thing is that because it was operating in the US started suggesting that there's a form of interference, especially during their election. The algorithm of that social media platform started leaning towards some candidates than some
Wow.
other candidates. You understand? During the Israel Gaza war, the algorithm leaned towards. So the algorithm is working against the US government's interest and is educating the US population. So let me give you an example. An average American before now, if you tell them about a Russian, they'd be like, they see a Russian as like these huge guys with huge chests that carry guns. Like that's all they think about them, right? That's
Okay.
literally that's all they think about them. They once you tell them a Russian, they think of a bad
That
guy
way. Okay.
because that's what the media projected. It's always a Russian brought killed people. It's always a Russian did something bad. You understand? It's just like when you talk about some random Middle Eastern persons and American, all they think about is somebody is going to blow them off, right? Because that's what they see in the media. It's just
Yeah.
like Nigeria, you heard about headsmen. All you think about is somebody is going to shoot you, right? Because that's
Yeah.
all you see on the media, right? Then Americans went for Olympics and they got to Russia and they saw like young, beautiful people in good shape. And they were like, wait,
This is totally different from
which
what you'll be
Russia,
hearing.
which Russia is this, right? So, which tells you that the media itself sometimes run propaganda that they shape or they paint particular country in a form, and people have different ideas about them, right? So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that because of how sometimes we don't get to see the full picture
Picture of things.
of
Yeah.
things, you know, most of the time, especially when you are now in like this new world, things are changing a lot. This social media platform I was talking about started giving more information. So the Gaza war, an average American, all you used to see is that, oh, these guys, the Palestinians, they are the ones at fault. Then suddenly, these algorithms switch towards educating people about the struggles of an average Palestinian.
Oh.
Then suddenly they're like, wait, yes, I think it's also not fair on the Palestinians. They are just humans like you. You understand? So because
Yeah.
this algorithm was sort of like going against US interest, the Senate literally said that let's shut it down. So my company, Oracle, came in as a third party to like ensure that the US data are being analyzed just
Okay.
for that company in the US alone, they are being analyzed and extra work is being done to review what the algorithm and what the templates, what it looks like. You understand? So that's literally compliance, right? So
Okay.
if you are trying to build products and your target is the entire world, these are sometimes why Nigerian software, they don't go beyond at best Africa because the consideration for those things have to be built into the product and the
From get
mind
go.
from get-go and the mind behind it has to be that this product, you want it to go this far, you have to start talking to someone that operates beyond Nigeria has a very loose technology regulatory requirements. I literally feel like most Nigerian government, whatever is bugged. Like if you ask me, I feel that way. And that's just my feeling. It does not have to be a fact, right? So
Yeah.
that
I
nobody
understand.
comes after me. Because let me give you an example. I work in compliance. The US government cannot use software from China or have manufacturers that built their major equipment and cloud environment that have no, they don't allow it. In fact, most technology companies in the US, they started cloud being a cloud provider by first providing that technology to the government. Most technology today, including the internet, was first built for the government
Hmm.
by trusted home-based company.
Trusted.
Yes, the Amazons of this world, the Teslas of this world, the Oracles of this world, Googles of this world, Microsoft of this world, by companies that the government had as huge investments in. The same thing with China. Nobody accepts technology from any other country. No serious countries allows it. So the fact that you allow it already shows me that you guys are bugged.
Hmm.
Because you imagine China providing the technology to the US. You are telling me to not have backdoors. It will always have a backdoor. Because
Definitely,
it
definitely.
will. It will. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that softwares that are being built in Nigeria, generally, if you are trying to build a product, most of the problems you are trying to solve, there are problems that exist everywhere in the world. And
Okay.
start talking to people that have experience that is beyond of Nigeria.
Yeah, global experience.
Regulatory compliance is huge outside of Nigeria. If you're in
Yeah.
Nigeria, you might not know, but it's huge. People get like companies get shut down anyhow for it. So that's what I can say for anybody that's a developer or developing a product. I think I'm talking too much.
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's good, right? Because we all want to build a scalable product
Yep.
that is going to scale beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa.
Mhm,
But just a follow-up question.
mhm,
Uh, Based on most of the things that you've talked about, I know there will be like a cost that will be attached to those those kind of things, right? Which I believe uh, to a large extent, I don't have the figure. To a large extent, most of companies that are starting from Nigeria or that started from Nigeria cannot have that fund
mhm,
to get that kind of compliance unless or until there is a fund. So
mhm,
in that regard, right? How is it easy for someone to start building in Nigeria and scale it to a global ecosystem,
mhm.
and we still make sure that all the uh, dot and ticks he or she is able to figure it out at the point of scaling.
Mhm. Um, I think generally the good thing about the technology world is that it's actually the place that you need the less money and the more of the brain power. To be sincere, let me give you an example. Before technology came, look at the type of billionaires that the entire world had. Most of the time, they are in agriculture, they are in manufacturing, they are in commodities. And those things are controlled by government, one way or the other. It's technology that brought crypto billionaires.
Yes, I
It's
agree.
technology that brought younger guys that developed social media platforms. Those guys, how much did they invest to build those things? When Elon Musk was building PayPal, how much did he invest into it? With technology, the requirement for building companies keep reducing. Really, it keeps reducing because what you are doing, for example, you sit down in your house in front of your computer, you build a product. Like 10, 15, 20 years ago, you build a product, you build a company right there on your laptop. And that in scales and sometimes is acquired in 5 years for
Yes,
50, $100 million.
yes,
So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that what the way people have generally tend to manage and keep startup cost, you know, is basically by collaboration. If something is an integral part of the company you are trying to build, giving percentages of the company, all of those things. Like if what you are looking at is building those type of products, there are ways of keeping the funds down. There are ways of collaboration with people. There are ways of working with people. You understand? It doesn't always have to be that you have to spend a lot of money. The I feel like the knowledge that you need, it's more of the knowledge that you need than the money. You know, um, motivational speakers back in the days used to say that think and grow rich, think and all of those things. I think we're actually in that phase, right? Whereby really people are thinking, people are developing products, and they are actually growing rich without really, without having to put a lot. So it comes with a cost, but sometimes it's not as bad as people think. If they have the right set of people in the room, if they think more of collaboration, because for example, you're a Nigerian startup, you want to hire me to work on your product. Of course, you are going to pay a lot, not because I want to collect a lot of money, but generally because my hours are already expensive, right? My
Yes,
hours are
I agree.
expensive. Generally, they're expensive, right? So but collaboration, oh, you know come and be part of this project, all of those things. That's the way people navigate this world. Generally, that's the way people are navigating now, collaborating with people, selling the ideas to them, getting the right guys on board, working with them. Yeah, so that's something they can explore. And eventually when they start raising funds, they can they are able to pay more. They're able to get the type of people with the type of skill sets they are looking for. But in those early stages, I would generally say that people should think more of collaboration.
Okay, collaboration is the key if you want to navigate and to just keep the costs down. Give
Mm,
percentage is not a bad idea. Only you cannot build the entire company, so you still need to
mm,
collaborate. And thank
mhm,
you so much for that. I still have a few more questions, but our time is running fast. Um, on your profile, you have a lot of certification, right?
mhm,
Uh, how have you shaped your mindset and the way you approach security as a leadership? Because with all this, your certification,
mm.
it's not easy. It's not a day job. So how have you shaped your mindset and the way you approach your security leadership? Just want to learn one or two things, and so that
Yeah.
our audience can also pick one or two things from there.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's more of continuous learning approach for me, because I try to attempt a certification, one or two in a year. And the reason is just that we're already in the world that is changing very fast. And not taking training, not taking certification in 2 years, you might have been completely out of touch. And certifications does not always have to be that you have to add another four acronyms at the back of your LinkedIn profile. You have to add another three, 4 letters,
I understand.
GIPP, okay, NMPC. It doesn't mean that you always have to.
LPP.
you know, Sometimes you take, in fact, most of the time, the lot of trainings and everything you do, the it's more of even trying to get the knowledge. They are like really good courses on Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, that will give you the knowledge you are looking for and will help you to scale up, right? So for me, really the approach is continuous learning, um, trying to not lose touch with what is happening generally. Um, Things are changing so fast.
Yes.
Depending on the organization you work for, sometimes you have to do the extra work of training yourself to remain relevant. not just in your
Yes.
company, in the industry, right? So that has been my approach really. In terms of my leadership also, how do you want to lead people when you don't know more than them, right? The higher you go, the more you actually have to know what's happening outside of your own immediate company to
Yes.
understand the landscape better, to be able to provide solutions that are forward thinking and that they are literally looking into the future. So that's my approach. I don't want people to always feel like certifications. For me, certifications are not important if all you're adding is another acronym. In fact, it becomes a problem for you because you go for interviews and they have so much expectations. Oh, this guy has all of these skills. This guy should be extra. But they are good. They open doors. Generally, they open doors. But when they've opened the door, who are you going to be when you're having those conversations?
Mm,
So,
that's true.
certifications are good, but the approach should always be real improvement in
Yeah.
yourself, real development in your skill sets,
The
and
hands-on.
yeah, and that's generally my approach. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Uh, 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 Looking at that profile, I was like, hmm. But thank you for just simplify. You've simplified it. It's just not the title per se, but you basically need to have your hands on some of this thing because I know some people that what they just want is that particular title. Most
Mm.
of times they
It,
can't do the
it's not
actual
bad.
work.
Yeah, it's not bad. But if you have the title and cannot do the work, is more or less like impersonation because
Yeah,
you
I,
now go, you talk, people are looking at you and looking at your profile, and you're like, who
they're
is this
comparing
guy?
both.
Yeah, they're like, who is this guy? Yeah, so it and that's the future of the way things are. Like, I know people that studied literature in English and they are in tech now. We've come full circle to that point that really people don't care about the certificate you carry. People are more interested in what can you really do, what hands-on
Yeah,
experience do you have? Yeah.
what you can offer. I
Yeah.
have a question from audience that speaks to what do you think will happen? What do you think will be the future of developers? I think when you are talking about AI
Mhm.
doing a lot of things, so what do you think will be the future of developers? What
I,
can you just give?
I think developers and the way they will be required is the need is shifting. Um, what generally you have to have 5 10 developers do, one developer that is adequately leveraging AI can do it now. Is
Yes.
is the reality. In terms of the future for not just developers, for everybody, I think when I was in the university doing my master's, I was talking with one of my professors. I wanted to work on a project. And she told me something that stuck with me. She said, we first have to go to the industry and look at what does the industry, what do they need? She said, because in literal terms, they used to say that following the money, right? If you see where the money is going, if you see what organizations are willing to pay for, it tells you the problems they have,
Yes.
right? It tells you the problem they have. Like in the past 1 year, there have been AI researchers, AI scientists that were signed for like $1 billion. So
Wow.
it just tells you what the needs are now. Do you understand? So I think developers they already have the front seat role, especially if you've been programming before AI came, because you are generating codes with AI, but there's a problem. For example, you cannot run an entire organization that AI is generating the code. Who is going to review it? How can a human being review 10,000 codes that is written by AI in like 1 minute?
It's not possible.
And how do you want to tell governments that you trust AI that hallucinates a lot to the point that you deploy those type of codes?
Hmm.
So you still need, like, of course, you still need developers. You understand? But we are just shifting from the face of, you see, human beings, we've always been on this face of thinking how much information. So we've always been on this face of how much information can you retain?
Okay.
Our school systems are built on that. How much information can your brain retain? So when you go and write exams, they're asking you questions. How much information can your brain retain? How much information can your brain retain? Why? The reason is that when you're a medical doctor, when you're an engineer, when you are those things, we rely a lot on how much information your brain can retain to solve a problem, right? Because what we used to have were textbooks. And if you're a doctor and you are operating on someone, the information you are looking for might be in the 100th page. You cannot start flipping.
At that point in time.
When you're an engineer, when you're a developer, the information you need is scattered. Look at this Stack Overflow that developers used to use, and you are running
Yeah.
through different, you search, you look for this one's review, look for that
Comments.
one's review, just to comment, just to fix a bug, right?
Yeah.
So the way we were trained, especially for us that are that graduated, like, even if you graduated 5 years ago, you were tested on how much information can you retain.
Yes.
Now, education can no longer be how much information can you retain, because all the information you need is now at your tip, at your fingertips, right? So we the future of human beings generally, whether developer or anything, can no longer be how much information can you retain. It has to move
Again.
to thinking. It has to move to, our brain are not supposed to be keeping information, because how much information can an human being brain actually retain?
Yeah.
No, it has to, people have to know that we've moved into that phase that the brain is no longer going to have an advantage of how much information it can retain. The brain will have an advantage of thinking, innovation,
Mm.
processing thoughts, which actually that's what the brain is built for. The brain, that's what it's built for. But for a very long time, because we did not have the tools to make the brain to be in that phase, we've always make it put a lot of information. Okay, look at it. Look at your hard drive and your brain. How much information can your hard drive take? How much information can your brain take? So whether you're a developer or anybody, the future generally for all of us is going to be innovation. It's going to be thinking. If AI can provide all of this information to you, what can you use it to build? You understand? Like, if all
Yeah.
of these things are made available to you, how do you innovate? How do you take those things and turn it into something extraordinary? Thinking and innovation is going to be the advantage that the
Of
future
it.
humans are going to have over technology, right? Because that's what is unique to us. It's just like an artist, it's just like a musician, it's just like a footballer. How do you want to replace AI with a footballer? Tell me, how do you want to do it?
I don't know
Yeah,
yet.
you can create perfect humanoid robots that are playing against each other, but nobody scores. because the guy that is the goalkeeper is also an humanoid robot that has
Fly
all
like.
sensitivity. The guy is
Yeah,
not
you're right.
scared to jump because he's not going to break any rib, right? The
Mm.
guy is not scared to jump because he's not going to break any rib. And if he breaks, like if he joins and he breaks one of his arm, they will
You,
replace it.
they replace it
So,
and the
so,
likes. Yeah.
so, so I think we are entering a very interesting phase that we as humans, we are getting to that phase of our uniqueness. The fact that we all see the world differently, the fact
Mm.
that we all come with different abilities. The system has always tried to put us into buckets. Like, is either you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, you're an accountant, you work in a bank. When I was small, everybody wanted to be a doctor.
Doctor,
Like
doctor.
this, you're a nurse. Like the system was built that way. But what everybody is starting to realize is that creativity, innovation
Yeah,
is
that's one of the key.
triumphing over those basic buckets. You now see that TikTokers, content creators are becoming billionaires. These are
Yeah,
these are pathways that nobody saw like 10, 15 years ago. And 10 years ago is not a lot. Someone that was
it's
born
not.
10 years ago is probably now like, is knows what they are doing. 10 years ago is not a lot. It's not a lot of time.
Mm.
So those things literally we are seeing those things in front of us. We are seeing guys that you can still go and watch some of their videos like 4 years ago when they started, 5 years ago when they started. They are in Nigerian world, they are billionaires today, just creating content.
Mm.
So it tells you that the future, because technology is removing all of those. Some of those guys, when you were in school with them, they could not pass in class. And all the guys that were Jeficos of those days, where are all of them now? They are probably not doing bad for themselves, right? They are probably not doing bad for themselves. I'm not saying it to sort of like make it feel like, oh, maybe that did not work. No, they're probably doing well for themselves, right? But some of the guys that they felt like they were useless in class, they were just some clowns that disturb the class, make joke, and all of those things. Some of them today, they are not a waste either. It
Yeah,
shows
that's
you
true.
that we are wired differently.
Yeah,
The future of AI is not going to be a lot about how much information you can retain in your head. It's going to be it's going to be much dependent on your individuality, your creativity, your ability, your gift as a human being, and being able to leverage technology to
yeah.
promote those your personal agendas and those your personal things that you want to do in the world. That's going to be the future for everybody, including developers.
Mm. Mm. Thank you so much. I think the person that dropped that comment will have gained one or two things. What the AI is doing for us now, even me, I'm using it to also improve my code, right? Because
Mhm,
there are a lot of things that you can basically use the AI to achieve at this point in time.
mhm,
Is even in schools, right? They are actually teaching the kids how to make use of ChatGPT and the likes. So a lot we are at the point that you can't do anything with that. It's hard for you not to use it because they will even put it in your face like this. Access LinkedIn, you see LinkedIn to help you to rewrite something. Access Google, is this what you're searching for or not? So a lot of things has been put in place that you don't have option other than to even make use of it. So
mhm.
a lot of things. Thank you so much for this. To round it up, I just have one more question, right? So we are dependent, right, on AI. AI is dependent on data, heavily
Mhm,
data, right? So from
mhm,
what you are saying now, right? Uh when we talk about data governance, where companies getting that particular data from? Because the AI that we're talking about is heavily on data, right? So where are they getting that particular data from?
I think it depends.
Okay.
we've we've been providing data for several years, really. And as humans, we've not really been able to leverage those data. So I'll give you an example. I did, I was working on a project, and what that project was really looking at is that farmers in the Western countries, most of them, they've been collecting data from animals. Like, they attach all sorts of equipment to animals now, like little, you can easily put like a chip in them,
Mm-hmm.
just to see readings. It's just like all those chips that people are using now. For example, your Apple wristwatch can monitor your
A
health,
lot
can
of
monitor
things,
your
yeah.
heartbeat, can monitor your activity rate. So farmers are leveraging those too. And they've been collecting most of those data. They've been collecting them for years. You understand? They've been collecting them for years. Humans as well. Look at Facebook. People have been providing data for years on Facebook. Look at Twitter.
quite quite numbers of information.
Yeah, look at Twitter. People have been providing data for years. I work with Oracle. We are a database company, and that was our base, SQL database and those things. And people have been providing data for years. So those data now, you need them to train AI, because
Yes.
the thing is, if I know what you do every day, I can build something that will be doing it, right?
Yes.
So most of those data they've been provided for years. Um, it's not really bad that now the only issue that people are having is that other people are profiting from it and not them. Is that
Mm-hmm.
these companies, they are now training AI robots to be able to determine what you want, to be able to bring your preferences to you. Algorithms are getting really smart. If algorithms see you watch one or two or three things on politics, you will realize that moving forward, most of the things the algorithm will be pushing for you to see is going to be on
Politics.
politics.
Yes.
So it's not, so it's just make feeding you with your preferences, right? If, for example, you search on a platform for flight tickets to Cancun, before you know it, everything you now see is flight, easy, cheap
Flight
flight
ticket.
to Cancun. So this information that we are providing and is being used to make things easier for us, for our preferences and all of those things. It's scary because people are now talking about, oh, their privacy, oh, their privacy, oh, their privacy. So the question is, we did a security training at work, and some of the people that went for that security training, the guy came back and said that they stole his laptop. Well, so what happened? How come your laptop got stolen? He said he met somebody on Tinder. The person came to his hotel room, slept overnight, woke up the following morning. The guy is gone with his laptop and his personal belongings. So we now ask the question. So the security training you did, basically the company wasted the money, right? Because on one hand, people talk about privacy. On the other hand, you see that people don't care about privacy
Mm.
until it starts having adverse effect on them. The guardrails has to be created by countries, serious countries, and serious countries are taking it seriously, right? Those guardrails has to be managed. Those are some of the things that have to be managed by government. Individually, Yeah, really. If anybody wants your data, they will get your data.
Yeah, that's true.
You, if if Russia is interested in hacking your company, they will hack it. You don't have to, you don't have to do too much, right? What you are protecting against is some random wannabe hacker. You understand? And yes, you should safeguard yourself against those guys, right? But in essence, what I'm trying to say is that some of these concerns, on one hand, oh, people talk about their data. On the other hand, they provide their data easily. They are
Elsewhere.
pregnant, they've not given birth. The whole world already knows. In fact,
No,
people are
yeah,
doing
that's
photo shoots. They are not even wearing anything just to show that they are pregnant. Everybody have their preferences, right? That's what makes them happy. So there's no problem. But in essence, what I'm just saying is that those data are already available. People will keep providing them. AI is using it to get better and making life easier for people. So it's like you understand. It's like that's what the market wants, right? So I basically for me, I don't see a problem in it. The only thing is just that countries have to be more serious because advanced countries they are not taking those things lightly in
mm,
providing guardrails for the data of their citizens, making sure that other adversarial countries are not leveraging it against them.
on that particular data. Yeah.
You understand? So those are the things that are really important. Like those conversations, I think it's way beyond just one person or two people. Is
Yeah.
is that convergence of people, of countries, of groups of people, how those informations can be leveraged against people, to rain havoc and all those type of things. So I think those conversations, as much as people want to be concerned about it, is really way above one or two people. Is more of seriousness from governments
Yes.
to provide guardrails, to rein big tech in, to know that there is a strong regulatory requirement and compliance. And in cases that those compliance or those requirements are not met, there are FT issues that those companies will face. So it's above one or two people conversation. It's really I think it's
Like
really
a
a government
community.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
really a
Yeah.
government conversation. And governments that are very serious in most Western countries, oh my goodness, I'm sure you're in the UK. You can't play with people's data
You
there.
can't play with,
Yeah,
yeah, you can't just play
yeah.
with even snapping alone, you can't play with, can't play
No,
with
no,
it.
no, 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 you
Uh,
cannot.
Thank you so much. Last thing, before we round off for today, um, you've mentioned a lot of things from the cloud security down to data, down to compliance. I just want to ask, like, looking ahead now, what excites you most about the future of cloud security and AI? What should we be preparing for next?
Yeah, I think I'm excited because the future comes with a lot of opportunities. Um, I think humanoid robots are coming. They will replace most of the things that people do, anyways. At some point, they will start be able to go to war to go and fight. I think
We need them.
people, yeah, so countries are going to leverage more on technology and reduce basically the advantage is that there will be reduction of human beings, there will be reduction of our exposure to danger. So factories now they are replacing people with robots. Like the hard labor part of it. Look at, for example, drilling. Drilling in the past have to be like people carrying giga and drilling the
Yeah.
ground. Even in Nigeria now, like borehole come trucks, you see them moving around, they drill the ground, they get to the water in one day, they do everything. You understand? So
That's
it
true.
tells you that, yeah, because those things, if you see someone that used to like dig well back in those days, when you see them, like when you see them, you can already see it on them. Like, you know, they are doing a hard job. So some of those hard labor jobs, they are generally going to disappear over time. And we will generally get to that phase, which is what is exciting for me, that we will generally get to that phase that we are no longer required for our physical strength, we are more required for our creativity. And really, that's where we should be. So I think the future generally is going to be people's creativity,
Yeah.
how people can bring resources together and people to achieve goals. I think there will be a rapid development in technology. Like, people will just keep developing technology to solve literally every problem. You
Yes,
understand?
yes, that's
I
true.
think
That's
I
true.
think that because now you have an idea, you can easily go to Figma and develop the product yourself. You can, it's getting to that phase that when you have an idea, so before you know it, everybody will get to that point of, oh, I'm not happy with the way this food delivery is working. Oh, I can actually come up with one. How can this
Yeah,
work?
and build my
You
own.
know,
Yeah,
so we
build a
so
lot
we are
of
getting to that
prompts.
phase. I know that the art part is going to be the transition from I'm collecting salary to I'm building my team. That transition is what is going to lead to people being laid off and all of those things. But I think we are entering into a very exciting phase. For me, I'm in
I'm
security and
excited
compliance.
too.
This is our future. Like, we are the future, because the major thing that is going to be important in that future is compliance. Now
Yeah, that's true.
government have to regulate everything. Or government have to
Yes.
regulate AI. Government. So for people like us, that is what we do. Like, it's like, yes, we are now the future, right? So for me, generally, I know that security and compliance is going to be huge. Like, AI agents, AI models, they will require security, they will require compliance, all sorts of things. So I know that, yeah, in future, anybody that is looking at that, yeah, that's a good place to be, right? But generally too, I think for everybody, developers, product managers, all of those things. I think, yes, it's an exciting phase. We just have to take time to really understand what the needs are. The
Yes, that's
needs
true.
today is not going to be the needs in the next 10 years. Like, the
Yeah.
way companies, organizations, the type of problems they have is not going to be the type of problems that we have at that point, right? So understanding the needs, because needs and wants, they are insatiable. So
Yeah, that's true.
we are sure there will be needs. We are sure some
Definitely.
people have to meet them. So that's what we should all be thinking about, and that's what we should all be running towards, solving problems. That's what is going to be required in the future.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bayo. This has been an eyes-opening conversation. A lot of things to take in. Thank you so much for your time on the show today. I hope
Yeah.
everyone listening today, you've gather one or two things from compliance to AI to data governance and to cloud security because that's very, very important. Uh, if this episode adds one or two to you, please you can follow us on all our social media platform on Tech Niger FM. Uh, Thank you so much for today's episode, Mr. Bayo. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your
Thanks for
time.
having me. Yeah.
Giving us your time today. It's not an easy thing. I know how much it costs, but we can't pay it. Thank you so much for the time. Until next time, stay curious, stay building. Don't forget uh, to stay secure as well. And till next week, where we'll be talking about another episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.